There it is. I think we're live. I'm Karen Fagan, licensed professional counselor.
I'm Melinda Jacobs, trauma therapist, health coach.
And we are healers who swear a lot.
Fuck yes. I think we got that one really well. We did it.
We do it every week until we get it totally right.
All right.
Because perfection is the thing that is important to go for here. That's what we're all about. Complete perfection.
Right. And my entire, my missing ingredients course topic was all about perfectionism today, Karen.
And
do you want to
know? Yes.
Do you want to know my favoriteest? I mean, hands down, my favoriteest quote about perfectionism?
I do.
It comes from Miguel Ruiz, who initially wrote the 4 Agreements. And then I think this quote came from Mastery of Love. And it goes like this. Perfectionism is the highest order of self-abuse.
Oh, I love that. That's so true. Oh my gosh, that is.
When I read that, I literally felt like I got hit in the head by a 2x4. Like it hit me so profoundly. Like it was a big one. That was a big one. And I'm just going to tell you, I had such a great download during the class today. And what I think is interesting is we have this idea of how it should be, that's our idea of perfection. And yet we don't recognize that how things are right here, right now is the perfection of the moment. Mm-hmm. There is perfection in this moment. And yet we have this idea of how it should be. And therefore we miss the perfection that is. And we strive for this unachievable, unattainable thing that we can't ever get to. There was another quote. Oh, you'll like this one. You ready?
That's the abuse part, is we're always living in the not good enough of the gap between our idea of where we should be and where we are. And, fun fact, when you get to one goal, another one presents itself, because that's how life works. So you're always falling short.
Yeah. This was another quote that I found. I love this one. This is from Salvador Dali, who says, "Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it."
Exactly.
But yeah, lots of shame. Lots of shame.
I see that a lot in like really bright kids who, that translates into a lot of neurodivergence, because they've got the cognitive ability to see people older than they are and have an idea about how something should be. Because what's the first thing we do with an 18-month-old? We stack up a bunch of blocks and we go, ta-da, blocks. And then we do them a favor. We knock it over to show them that you can knock over blocks and it's fine. But the thing is, we forget that they don't have the motor skills to stack them in the first place. So from the get-go, like really bright kids are having the experience of like, oh, to do it right, you stack the blocks and then you go, ta-da. Well, I can't get him to stand up, so I'm doing something wrong.
And still relate to that.
Yeah, before speech.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any idea what to talk about today, but we always find something. And so Melinda has this phenomenal badassery oracle deck, and she can tell you where you could get your very own. And it is phenomenal. My cousin and I do yoga early in the morning on my telehealth platform, which is the best use I've found for it. And I actually put the deck away. I put it away, so I need to get it out again. Laverne, remind me. And we would pull a card every day, but we've kind of fallen out of that. So now we end up chatting. But so we decided we just pull a card.
Yeah, we're gonna pull a card from my badassery oracle. There's the website, mvjacobs.com. There's a tab that says badassery oracle. But yeah, I created this to kind of go with a highly sensitive thriving guide class that I taught during COVID. And I taught it twice. And like the first time I thought, yeah, this will probably be, 6-8 weeks, maybe. 9 months later, I'm like, we need to end this now. Like I'm complete.
You're done. Fly, be free.
And then I ran it again, and some of the people that took it the first time took it again the second time. And they said, really, you need like some kind of index cards or something to kind of remind us of all of these cool tips and tricks. And so I started it, and but then I kind of it expanded itself, because I started, I have some perspectives where my clients are like, "Ooh, I love that. That's such a great reminder." And one day, I was feeding, like I had maybe a third of the deck completed, and they had been bugging me for this for months.
Your process
and months. It was this was hard to birth. And then one day, this woman just kind of had these cards, and she was just like this and like this, and I couldn't really see. Turns out I don't see things initially, I feel things initially. And I'm like, oh, what are those? Those feel amazing. And she's like, those are your cards, Melinda. Because I had been giving them to them, and so she had created her own bootleg deck. And that was what kind of pushed me into completing it. So the Badassery Oracle is a healing companion for anybody on a journey that's, moving through challenges.
And they're fabulous. They're just so fabulous and so poignant. So what does the universe have to tell us today?
I love this deck so much. Love them exactly where they are. And that image, it took me a long time to get the frustration. So on the back is the message, so I'll read that. Are you relating with others in a way that empowers and lifts you? Or are you stuck in judgment, criticism, and trying to change others in a way that leaves you frustrated and upset? I can't imagine that applying to anything today, Karen. Can you?
Not at all.
Here's the secret. You cannot change other people's thoughts, beliefs, habits, actions, or perspectives. Only they can do that. So today, dear one, you are being offered the key to your freedom. Let go of the tug-of-war rope and step back into your power. You can change your perspectives, beliefs, and expectations. Give yourself a gift by releasing others from your expectations and practice loving them exactly where they are. Hand them back over to the divine. Most likely, their evolution is above your pay grade anyways.
Exactly. Oh man, that is so good. I mean, I'm always going to go to the brain, right? So your brain wants the easy answer, and it's a whole lot easier to get someone else to change their behavior. Like, you did this thing and so I feel. It's easier to change the thing that they did than change the way you feel, because it's always easier to change an external than you, but that doesn't actually work. So we put all this energy into telling other people what they need to do differently to not trigger us, or, whatever, twist themselves into a pretzel so that we're more comfortable, instead of looking at, oh, maybe I could react to this differently.
Or how do I take care of them? Or what do I need to bring into this situation? Like, I think about the line of dumpster fires that I've had as relationships, and I look back at every one of those, and what I needed was a voice. I needed to be able to say, this isn't working for me. Here's what I need. And then when that need did not get met, or it was belittled in some way, I needed the ability to say, oh, this isn't working for me, and leave.
Right.
Like
that. I'm the same. And I think that's a tolerance thing, right? We make our whole lives around understanding and people growing and believing and stuff like that. And we don't set limits soon enough. We don't recognize, oh, this is the same pattern that I've fallen into. I'm not going to do it again.
Right. I think for me, it was, it's just over time, I've been up-leveling my self-worth. I've been up-leveling my expectations for how I want to be in a relationship. I do not, as Karen knows very well, expect perfection, because we just talked about that. It's how people respond when you say ow. That's what I'm basing it on now. I know people are going to fuck up. I know people are going to hurt my feelings because I am tender and sensitive at times. And depending on the day, sometimes it's really easy to trip something here. And when I say ow, I have one expectation. What might that be, Karen?
How can I help?
I
recognize that I hurt you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
I'm sorry it's so tainted by society. It's a really hard one. So, people who are expecting those particular words often don't get them because people can't say them because they've been forced to say them so many times.
There's truth to that.
But of acknowledgement and accountability.
Exactly. Acknowledgement. So sorry. Well, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I think that's the first thing, is like the recognition that something hurt. Like, I think the image that always comes to mind is someone who's like got an external fixator on their leg, like pins and awfulness, and you accidentally bump it. I would be mortified. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, some kind of recognition that hurt. Like, that's my number one thing. If that doesn't happen, I have zero tolerance these days.
Right. Melinda, and I think about, I'll just tell the story of myself. I think about when you got your autism testing.
Oh God, that was so painful.
And right, my experience hearing you go through that, like internally, I'm just like, why is she putting all of this energy into something that's so obvious? It took me, and I wrote you a long text email when it occurred to me that you didn't know. I knew.
Yeah.
But you're the all-knowing, amazing Melinda. For Pete's sake, how could you not know this? And I texted you and I said, I just realized how much I've been minimizing your experience. And
that was sweet.
I can't even, like, I think I was like, I don't even remember what I was doing, but I was like, it was like such a gut punch. I was like, oh my God, I did that. And I just love you so much. And it was, when you love someone and you have a relationship that's not based on power, you can go to that person and say, holy crap, I screwed up in a big way.
Yeah.
And shockingly, the other person says, I get it. And I love you too. Just like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one of those moments with you a week ago or something like that, where I'm just like, I am so sorry. And you're just like, I just need someone to know this about me. And I'm like, yep, you're right. Like, just laying down all of that need to, I don't know, stand the ground, whatever. It's just, but that recognition, I think that, to me, that's what's missing, and that's what I'm inviting back into the world, is recognizing the tenderness of what it means to be human, and how do we come back to finding respect for each other, even when there's some really interesting behavior happening.
So crazy. But go, back to like the oracle card, right? Thinking about how to navigate that situation where everything in our instinct says, make the thing stop and then you'll feel better. But relationship means like taking care of yourself and telling that person, here's what I need from you. You know, here's what I need. I can have compassion and understanding for this thing that you tried to give me, and understand that that's, you're in your little snow globe in your head over there, but my snow globe needs something different. Exactly. That's hard. It's hard when you're hurt to step out of that and say, I acknowledge your response. Here's what I need from you.
Yeah, I did a Sunday talk at a spiritual center, and before I was talking to the spiritual director. I'm like, do I mention what's happening in LA? Like, and she's like, well, some people may not know. So do you want to be the one that brings the news in? And I'm like, I don't think so. But I think that I'm so grateful for spiritual perspective, not as a bypass, but as a perspective. Like, it just gives me some space to breathe. And for me, the spiritual perspective is in all of the conflict, I know that love is in there somewhere. Like, in each and every one of us is a light, a spark of truth, of love. Like, I really believe we're all made of that, even when we're acting horribly. I know that if I can focus and laser in on that spark, that spark grows. And the person may not even know that spark exists. And so it gives me something to do other than judge the fuck out of them.
Exactly. I'm such a Pollyanna. I'm like, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. They told me, like, my first job out of graduate school when I was 25 years old and looked like I was 17, doing evaluations in ERs, and I worked with 3 40-year-old men. It was me and 3 40-year-old men. They locked me in the closet one day. We had so much fun. It was great. But they used to call me Pollyanna, and they'd laugh, and they'd be like, you'll get over that. I haven't. Dave, Chuck, Bob, I'm still Pollyanna 30 years later.
Well, and what I love about that, Karen, is it's called holding hope. Yeah. And I think that's an important quality. I tend to be very altruistic. One of the people who chose me to be his right-hand person for 8 years said to a group of people that were studying with him, is like, why did you choose her? And he's like, I've never met anybody as pure as Melinda. And so that altruism, and I'm gonna up your ante. I'm just gonna go one higher. I don't think it's going to work out. I think it is working out.
That's a really good point.
Right now,
it's so painful to watch the process, though.
Oh God, it's so awful. But this is working it out. It is working out because nature finds a way. I think Jeff Goldblum said that. You know, what happens when the body gets out of balance and homeostasis is not happening? It barfs, it gets a fever, it has diarrhea, it does horrible, horrible things that are very uncomfortable, as you and I both know. That's the system working its way back to homeostasis.
Yeah.
I believe that we collectively are doing that too. It's working out. It just looks like shit.
Well, you know, the thing that gets me, that I keep coming back to, is just like, ooh, there's been several times that I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the worst it's going to get. Somebody's going to stand up and say, okay, that's enough. And I'm a little afraid of what actually will be the tipping point.
What's the bottom? Yeah.
What is our actual bottom? Because I thought we might have hit it by now.
Well,
a while ago.
I love your Pollyanna, and I love that in the midst of it all that you've seen and all that you've done, that you still have this light, this eye, this perspective that, you know what, no matter what, it's going to work out. Like, I think that there's something about that is, there's a beacon of truth
like that. You know, I have to manage it though, because, you know, back to that perfection thing, there's a lot of disappointment. Right now, if you're always holding that vision for whoever, for a client, for a family member, for a loved one, for a dumpster fire relationship partner, then there's a lot of disappointment, and you have to know what to do with that internally. And that's about boundaries, you know, boundaries with yourself.
And there is the wisdom, folks, that I love, that shows up in my random conversations with Karen Fagan. Thank you. I feel like that's a really beautiful place to end. Is there any takeaways that you want people to take with them?
Don't give up. Hold on to hope. Pollyanna. We need more Pollyannas. And it doesn't help to just talk about how bad it is. It helps to talk about bright spots and talk about hope.
I'm going to end on this. There's a spiritual teacher that I follow, and someone asked her about war. And she was in this really expanded place. And the answer was so beautiful. She said, there's a lot of places that are at peace. And I'm just going to remember that. That's not I'm sticking my head in the sand. I have sat in meditation, and what's mine to do is to continue to be kind, to speak hope, to remember that it only takes one candle to light the dark room. And so the darkness recedes when we hold light, love, and truth. And I just, being kind, I'm just going to continue to be in the world what I choose, how I want the world to be. I want the world to be kind. I'll be that.
Be the change you want to see.
In the midst of all the ick.
Well, and that's, I did my my meditation for people who didn't meditate until I got sick and lost my voice for 3 weeks. So I keep telling myself I need to do that, but I really suck at it. I suck at the live thing by myself. I suck at
she doesn't.
All right. My candles are right here. So I would, do this meditation where I was like, okay, take a deep breath and like send positivity towards all of the people that gross you out on the news.
It's hard.
It's
I love
really
that.
hard, but that's what I can do.
Yep. I love that. If you need a really great EMDR therapist, a really great relational therapist, if you've got some challenges, Karen is the person. She's phenomenal. If you're more into some energetic quantum physics kind of healing, hypnotherapy, you want to break through some beliefs or do some clearing around some past trauma, there's my information. Also the Oracle decks there.
I was going to say that.
Karen, I love you so much.
Oh, this is so fun. This was, and thanks for, like hitting the live button when I didn't expect you to that time.
Just keeping it fun.
She's kind of a bully, but it's good for me.
In all the best ways.
Absolutely. The most loving bully I've ever had.
And next Monday.
Never stole my diary, like never did anything mean.
No.
Help me grow. We help each other grow. That's what relationship is for.
That's what we're here for.
All right, my dear.
Love you.
Love you. See you soon.
See ya.